hard, get dough. I can't get no sleep, please make my life more simple. But I wouldn't trade a thing for what I have. I go hard, do what I need to make it last. They say the good die young, I hope I'm bad. Cheers to my past.
Okay, today we're back in the shop, and basically recently I made a 3D wine cellar sign, and one of my friends saw the video and he texted me and he said, hey John, would it be possible to put the wine, you know, whatever name of the wine company logo, could you put it onto the wine bottle? And if you look at this, so you can see the wine bottle, it has a radius on it. And I have no idea if I can do that or not. So yeah, it was a good question. So today we're gonna find out if we can project a wine company logo onto the bottle. And it's a good day to give it a try. So basically I should be able to use the same drawing and just go in there, and my idea that I had was to basically go back into my drawing, the original drawing, and draw the logo and then project it onto the 3D model. And I have no idea if it's going to work, but yeah, let's go into the office and we'll do the little logo first, and then we'll cut it and we'll give it a try. Now this was a prototype. This was a prototype that I did, and it turned out really nice actually. But I wanted to see if I was capable of doing this type of 3D work, and that way, you know, it would be another thing that I could do. Anyway, let's get to the computer. We'll draw it and then we'll go cut it, and we might mess this up. I'm not sure, but it would be fun trying. And yeah, let's get started. Okay, here we are in the original drawing. So this is basically what I drew and then I cut out. Now we're going to go up here and we're going to import a bitmap, and we're going to go to our downloads, and I don't see it anywhere. Maybe it's down here. So I decided on, oh wait, I do have a Screaming Eagle one right there. Let's see, oh, actually I like that. So we're going to enlarge this to fit this bottle. Obviously that's too big. Now the idea of this, okay, first we got to create a bitmap. That's pretty small, but we're going to see if we can transform that object, black and white, preview, apply, close. So we'll go ahead and get rid of the original. Oh, it already got rid of it. So you can see it's got a few things going on here. So we need to ungroup it back to its original layer. Then we're going to get rid of that little trademark. We don't want that on our bottle. Actually, that looks pretty good. I might, actually, let's group it back together. Might try to make it a little bigger. Group it back, right click and group it back together. Then we'll click on it. Now we're gonna grab this little node right here, hold the shift key down, and we're gonna go up. There we go. Now we got what we want. Now, here's the tricky part of this whole thing. So we go over to the toolpath. Now we've already cut out this 3D, so we don't need that at all. We can actually click out of that. We can click our Screaming Eagle. Now we want to do a V-carve of the Screaming Eagle. And we're going to basically do a simple V-carve. We're not going to use a clearing tool. We're going to use this 1502 bet. Now here's the trick. We want to project the toolpath onto the 3D model. Now, the only problem with that is the XYZ position. Now, if it remembers it from our previous thing, we'll be okay. So we're going to go ahead and so here's the thing that I think is going to help me: the project toolpath onto 3D model, and we're going to name this VCarve 3. We'll go ahead and hit calculate. The selected vectors may contain overlaps or intersections may lead to unexpected. Would you like to use vector validator to locate them? Let's cancel. So I think it's in the, yeah, it's in the eagle. There's problems in the eagle. So what we need to do is we need to ungroup that. Ungroup back to original. So you can see there's these little problems up here. So we're going to delete those. Delete those. And that happens. These kind of things come in. I don't want to delete all that. So a lot of times these things, they come in with the drawing, and you have to kind of take a look and get rid of them if you don't need them in there. Especially like, see this little perfectly square box? That's not needed. This one's a common one that comes in. That one's not needed. This one's not needed. And let's see, let's go down, go back up. Yeah, that's all of them. Okay. So now we kind of got it back where we want. Now what we need to do is regroup this back together. And of course, I'm not, oh yeah, I'm high enough right there. Okay, so group. Now we're going to close that. We're going to go back over to our toolpath. We're going to close that. We're going to go back to VCarve. All this is going to stay the same. Project toolpath onto 3D model. And we're going to continue anyway this time. And we're going to preview all toolpaths. Now this should go on the radius of that bottle. Oh, now I see a problem right there. You see how the eagle is kind of below. We need to put that eagle in this box. So we need to go back to the 2D view. We're going to delete this one. Delete the one we just did. Reset the preview. And let me see the 3D view. Let's preview this toolpath. Got to highlight them. Preview visible toolpaths. Now this is something that I've never done before, so this should be interesting. So what I want to do is, see, I have this little area right here. So we're going to have to shrink that 2D one down to get it in that area. Now I could just put an eagle in there, but I think it would be cool to have the whole thing in there. So we're going to grab this node, hold the shift key down, and we're going to lower it a little bit. And we're going to pull it side to side a little bit, because this little square seems to be smaller than I was thinking. Now let's V-carve that and see if it's in the square. We were kind of hoping that it's going to be in the middle of that square. Ooh, it almost made it. It needs to lower down a little more. Okay, so we'll delete that. Reset preview. Go back to our 2D model. Now we're gonna basically lower this down. And then I want to center that. So I'm going to go back to my drawing tab. I want to make sure that's side to side center. And you saw it just moved a little bit. Okay, back to the toolpath. Close, V-carve, calculate. Continue anyway. And preview all visible toolpaths. Well, that didn't do, oh wait a minute. Preview all toolpaths. Now, is it going to arch around it? Actually, it did. So you can see now, you can see that it kind of went around the radius of that bottle. Now, I have no idea if this is going to work. It looks pretty cool though. And this is a small project, so it'll be interesting to see if that works. Actually, the size of that looks pretty good. Yeah. So if this sign was bigger, you would basically make this a lot more detailed as far as, but that's not bad. I don't know if it's going to work or not. Okay, let's take this toolpath, this V-carve 2, over to the machine, and we'll see if we can screw this up. All right, I'll see you over there.
Well, if we could screw it up any worse, we did. So basically what happened is I did I Z'd it to the material, but I needed to Z it out to the top of the bottle. And for some reason, I don't know why I didn't think of that properly, but also you can see the drawing or the V-carve is way high up on the bottle. And the reason this is happening, I made two mistakes here. I didn't remeasure the materials, the width and the height. And if you remember in my previous video, I actually made a mistake and ended up cutting off the bottom of this material. But in my drawing, I left the material the same dimensions. So when I Z'd out to the bottom left corner, it was actually a lot higher up on the bottle than I had anticipated. And so there was two mistakes: improper XYZ and improper Z out. Now, what I found out a couple things doing this. I learned a new trick about Z'ing out on top of a 3D object, or on top of any object really. And I'm going to show you it in the next video, so basically what I'm going to do is scrap this, believe it or not. It was a little sad, but I basically got this 1/2-inch mill, and I wrote a program to just mill the whole top of this off. And I'm only going to take about a 1/16 of an inch off this whole thing. And that was a little sad. That's 5 hours of 3D work that just went down the drain. But this is all part of learning, and I like to share my mistakes because I learn a lot from other people, and hopefully you can learn something from me. So an important part of doing any kind of 3D carving is to have a really to surface your material. So right here we're just going to surface the whole top of this off. I think a little bit of that top thing stayed on there temporarily. Yeah, see, it left a little bit of that Strauss cellar on there. Now, what I learned, and this is how it's gonna, you basically learn from your mistakes. And once I figured out what I did wrong, I ended up Z'ing out from a position up in the left-hand corner. Now, this was important because this section of the model would stay flat. And so I XYZ with my straight cut 1/8 inch down cut bit. Now the first thing we're going to do is do the roughing toolpath, and I don't think my battery lasted this whole thing, but you can see right there it's taken off about 1/8 of an inch. And here's 20 times speed. And I don't think it finishes even at 20 times speed. But here it is finished, and the trick I learned was to put in your V-carve bit and get it over your where your 3D model. Leave the bit loose in there, and basically what I did was I put the bit in, had to move it over a little bit. I insert the bit, I tighten it up a little bit, I put it over the place where I'm going to do the V-carve, and once I get it close to the center, I loosen up the bit and I just let it drop right onto the 3D model. And then in Mach 4, I basically hit the, once I get it tightened up, in Mach 4, up in the XYZ section, I clear the Z to 0. And that seemed to work really well, actually. And yeah, that worked really well. So right here, I'm already, I Z it, and then I basically run the program. It's hard to see, but it actually worked out perfect. You could epoxy that and it would just come out beautiful. Anyway, those are lessons learned about the Z-axis and the XY. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you later.
Work hard, get dough. I can't get no sleep, please make my life more simple. But I wouldn't trade a thing for what I have.